Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Wake and Take. It's your boy Jason, and we've got some football to talk about today. Today is the last day I am here in Atlanta, about to literally right after the show, gonna head down to the airport, head up to Detroit for the NFL draft, meeting the rest of the Player Profiler gang. So I figured today, why don't I go ahead and put myself on the record as some flag plants for some rookies that will be drafted this upcoming weekend before they even get drafted. I'll be drafting these players that I'm going to be talking about regardless of their landing spot. I think there's just some great rookies to keep an eye on this week. So go ahead, take out your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, so welcome in, everyone. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Elijah Smith, how's it going? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thank you all for tuning in. Before we get into my rookie flag plants, I did want to cover a couple of the recent news stories from yesterday, starting with the Zack Wilson trade. He is being traded to the Denver Broncos along with a 7th round pick for the Broncos' 6th round pick. So basically just a late round pick swap for the Broncos to have the rights to Zack Wilson for the rest of his rookie contract. Not much to say about it. You know, I don't think that this necessarily takes the Broncos out of the quarterback sweepstakes in the NFL draft. Zack Wilson obviously has not done enough to warrant that kind of trust from an organization. So they're still very much in the quarterback sweepstakes. But if they can't land one, I could see a quarterback battle between Zack Wilson and Jarrett Stidham. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of that battle, Zack Wilson does beat out Stidham, which, I mean, I know I like Stidham, but I just think at the end of the day, Zack Wilson has shown enough flashes that I would be curious to see what Sean Payton could do with him. I'm not saying buy Zack Wilson at all. I'm not. But, you know, depending on how this draft goes, we could be talking about this a little bit more than we are right now. So anyway, I don't think this necessarily takes the Broncos outside of the sweepstakes for a quarterback, but, you know, does make it to where they at least kind of feel like they maybe have a quarterback room with Zack Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and I believe they even brought in one more guy, so we'll see how it goes. But either way, Zack Wilson to the Broncos, late round pick swap. And the next bit I have for you guys is Matty Ice. Matt Ryan, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, is officially retiring. We kind of already thought he was retired, to be completely honest with you. It's not like he played football last season, and we knew he had the broadcasting career. But he officially retired yesterday, signing a one-day contract with the Atlanta Falcons, enabling him to retire as one of the greatest athletes from the city of Atlanta, putting himself up there with Chipper Jones and Dominique Wilkins. Matt Ryan had an insane career for the Falcons, played in 234 games, only missed 3 games as an Atlanta Falcon due to injury. Just the definition of a stud and a healthy quarterback who was just taking hits, but yet showing up for the team every single week. Only missing 3 games in a 14-season career is just a remarkable feat. On top of that, he's retiring, currently locked in as a top 10 in passing yards in NFL history. So that's incredible. You know, he might get passed by the time some of these young bucks retire, but still, as of right now, he's top 10 in passing yards. He's won an MVP. He was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been in 4 Pro Bowls. He, of course, had the Super Bowl appearance, the 28-3. Even if they lost the game, still even just great to get there. So, Matt Ryan, congratulations on a great career. I will never forgive Frank Reich for what he did to you. Your failure in Indianapolis was not your fault, Matty Ice. You still had some left in the tank, and you just got the short end of the stick. The Falcons should not have tried to move on for you for Deshaun Watson. They should not have traded you for a 3rd-round pick, but they did, and kind of here we are. But still, fantastic career. Congratulations, Matty Ice. So that is all I have for you guys in terms of some news. Before we get into the rookie talk, why don't we hear from the Podfather on the rookie guide?
It is NFL draft season and the wait is over. The Player Profiler Rookie Guide is available. It's live on the site now. Right there in the nav bar, click on the 2024 Rookie Guide to download it. It's so comprehensive. We're ranking and writing up more players than anybody. And this year, we're providing athleticism scores. We're doubling the number of advanced stats on each player profile. And guess who's back? Cody Carpentier. But it's not just him. It's Theo. It's Matty Kiwoom. It's John Lobb. And the Undroppables, all coming together to provide their composite rankings. And this year we're adding Superflex Tight End Premium because that's now become such a popular format. So get those composite ranks, get the write-ups, the comps, the stats and metrics you want. If you already have Dynasty Deluxe, you already have it. But if you don't, it's right there in the nav bar on playerprofiler.com. It's $20. It's not the first. It's not the most expensive, but it is the best.
Let's go. Player Profiler Rookie Guide. Go get that today. And if you want to get the all-in package, you can get $20 off using promo code Jason. That'll get you access to all the incredible Player Profiler tools on the website, including the rankings, the data analysis tool, everything, really, everything. So go get the all-in package. If you don't just want the rookie guide, go get it all with promo code Jason. So we've got some rookies to talk about. I have 8 flag plants for you, not relying on landing spot. I think that these 8 rookies are going to smash in the NFL. I think they're going to be great, regardless of whatever team drafts them. I really do like these players. We're going to start things off by saying I do not have a quarterback in this list. I do not feel comfortable enough about any of the quarterback prospects in this draft for me to comfortably say that they will be a success in the NFL. Yes, I'm saying that about Caleb Williams. Yes, I'm saying that about Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Yes, of course, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. I want to see where those quarterbacks go. I mean, I know Caleb Williams is going to the Bears, but I don't think that that's 100% guaranteed. Or, that he'll succeed with the Bears. He probably will. But no, nothing like worth a flag plant is basically what I'm saying. I like some of these quarterbacks, but nothing worth putting my neck on the line saying this dude's a stud. You know what I'm saying? I will go ahead and say, though, before we get into the actual flag plants, I do think Michael Penix and Bo Nix will be values in our Superflex drafts. I do think that those quarterbacks will end up being okay in the NFL level, and I'm very curious to see who gets them. But cool. Let's go ahead and talk some rookie flag plants. We'll start with the easiest one, Blake Corum. Everyone's coming out with their RB1 right now for fantasy. I think Blake Corum's going to be mine, at least including all the healthy ones. I still think Jonathan Brooks is someone I want to keep my eye on depending on landing spot. But as of right now, Blake Corum is a running back I want. He's had 1,000 total yards or more in 3 straight seasons with Michigan. He had 19 touchdowns in 22, had 26 touchdowns in 2023. He's got a decent size at 5'8", 205 pounds, just a good running back profile. And he has 94th percentile agility and came in the 93rd percentile with his bench press. So he's quick and he's strong and he's got good size and he has a nose for an end zone and he's a national champion. And he's a bell cow running back. I like Blake Corum a lot. I think whatever team drafts him is going to utilize him properly. And I'm not saying that this is a guy who's ever going to be like a top 10 dynasty running back. Now, he could with the right landing spot, but I more so view him as someone that no matter what is going to have a role in the NFL, whether it's something low like a Jamal Williams just getting touchdowns, or, like a Kenneth Walker and actually kind of getting a bell cow usage with his frame. But either way, I think Blake Corum is someone that is going to stay on rosters, really, whether it be as a high-end handcuff or as a low-end, like RB1 or high-end RB2 even. So I like Blake Corum a lot. Very curious to see where he lands. And love myself some Michigan players. So we'll go with Blake Corum for my first rookie flag plant. He's my rookie RB1, which brings me to my rookie RB2, Marshawn Lloyd. I know that those are, these are kind of differing in terms of RB1 and RB2, but I love myself some Marshawn Lloyd. He just impressed me a ton when I was able to see him at the Senior Bowl. He was my number 1 running back from the Senior Bowl, and then followed that up with a really, really good combine performance, coming in with 93rd percentile speed score, 86th percentile bench press as well. So again, quick, but also strong. He's 5'9", 220 pounds, so he's got a stocky frame, but he's incredibly elusive and explosive. He averaged over 7 yards a carry last season and 19 yards per catch with the USC Trojans. So really, really productive last year. Had 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns total with rushing and receiving yards. He's been used in kind of both parts of the game. I'm very curious again to see where Marshawn Lloyd goes, but I think that this is the perfect running back in any backfield, really. He's a very, very complimentary back. He can run, but he can also catch. He was decent in pass protection at the Senior Bowl as well. So I like Marshawn Lloyd a lot. He's very explosive, and I think that he might shock some people with some decent draft capital this weekend. Which leads me to Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson is going to be my next rookie flag plant. Love myself some Roman Wilson. Again, Michigan fan, but also just the profile is really good for Roman Wilson too. Everyone is getting out over their skis with Ladd McConkey. Why not get Roman Wilson, who's basically Ladd McConkey's profile, with better college production and a little bit more complete of a receiver in terms of being able to operate in all quadrants of the field. Like Roman Wilson's not just a slot guy. He has speed and strength to get outside as well. And even just run the intermediate routes, all around the field. Roman Wilson can excel. We saw it at Michigan. We saw it at the Senior Bowl as well. Just really, really good wide receiver. He's 5'11", 185. So he's got decent size. He ran a 4.39 40, so he's got really, really good speed. Stephon Diggs is the best comparable that he's landed here at Player Profiler, based on his workout metrics, his college production, all that stuff, looking like a Stephon Diggs. Plus, last year he had almost 800 yards and 12 touchdowns, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the 48 receptions was good for 20% of J.J. McCarthy's completions. His 789 receiving yards was 26% of J.J. McCarthy's pass yards, and his 12 touchdowns were 54% of J.J. McCarthy's passing touchdowns. So clearly he has a little bit of a clutch factor. Clearly he's a reliable target and, just a good wide receiver. So I'm latching on to Roman Wilson. Again, very excited to see where he goes, but I think that he can succeed anywhere and he can play a number of positions, whether he has to stay in the slot where he gets drafted, or he could be a nice wide receiver too, kind of flanking all over the field, maybe like a Christian Kirk type wide receiver. So Roman Wilson is a guy that's lost some steam since the Senior Bowl that I don't really understand, because he backed up the amazing Senior Bowl with another really good combine performance. So Roman Wilson is a guy I'm keeping my eye on, planting my flag with Roman Wilson, if you will. And my next one is going to be Kamani Vidal. I've talked about him a lot now, but this is just a running back that I love. It's a profile I love. Growing up, Maurice Jones-Drew was my favorite running back. I liked Rashard Mendenhall. I liked Ray Rice. Like, the short, stocky guys are just awesome to me. And Kamani Vidal is exactly that. He has 91st percentile BMI, measuring in at 5'8", 213 pounds, and has the biggest thighs you've ever seen. Just an absolute log for a leg. And he has 87th percentile speed, 78th percentile burst and agility. So he's pretty quick, on top of having that strength and amazing frame. He had no injuries in his college career, played every single game, and led college football in rushing yards last season with 1,661 rush yards. Also finished with 15 touchdowns and 201 receiving yards. He was getting it done all over. Kamani Vidal is a player we all really need to be keeping our eye on. He could go around one in like round 4 and be a really, really good running back for whatever team. I would say at worst, he's a high-end handcuff, but I think that he has some potential for even more with his profile. And lastly, he's like Hank Aaron's great nephew or something like that. So we've talked about, Marvin Harrison Jr. and another player I'll talk about in a bit with some of this kind of bloodline running through this draft. So that's another one. Hank Aaron to Kamani Vidal, even if it's baseball, that's still one of the greatest athletes of all time. And he's got that blood running through him. So Kamani Vidal is another player that I really do like a lot in this draft. So we'll go ahead and move on to, I guess, the next bloodline guy. As I kind of mentioned, Brendan Rice. This is another player that just, it just looks really, really good to me. He's 6'2", 208 pounds. But when I looked at him at the Senior Bowl, when I watched him play, he looks taller than 6'2". He looks heavier than 208. And he looks quicker than his 4.5 40-yard dash that he ran. He literally just he plays bigger, faster, stronger than his profile suggests. Just a really, really crisp route runner. Really big, strong hands as well. Finished last year with 12 touchdowns with USC, catching those touchdowns from Caleb Williams. Didn't lead them in yards, but did lead them in receiving touchdowns. Clearly a good target for Caleb Williams. And his production increased every single year in college. 120 yards to 300 yards to 600 yards to 800 yards in his final season in college. And lastly, had about 1,000 return yards in 2021 on the Colorado Buffaloes before transferring to USC. So not only has he kind of produced as a wide receiver, but he has some of that special teams production as well, which helps you make a roster, could help your draft stock. And, with the new kickoff return rules, maybe help in fantasy football as well if you have the special team scoring. But I mean, I'm not going to leave my rookie drafts without Jerry Rice's son. It's just ridiculous to not get Brendan Rice. I'm honestly surprised he's not being talked about more. I know he didn't have the greatest college production, but he flashed at the Senior Bowl. He flashed at the Combine. He's had really great interview processes. He's Jerry Rice's son. I mean, what else do you want, guys? Draft Brendan Rice. I love myself some Brendan Rice. And I also like the next Nepo baby, Luke McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey is looking like a good wide receiver. It might take some time with him just because he's new to the position. He actually started out as a quarterback at Nebraska, and wasn't the best quarterback. Had to transfer to Rice, where he was a quarterback for a year. So he played 3 years of quarterback in college before spending his last 2 seasons in college as a wide receiver. And he did a really solid job. His first year as a wide receiver, he had over 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then last year finished with nearly 1,000 yards with 992 and had 13 touchdowns, which is really, really good production. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, so he profiles really well, and he has 96th percentile agility, 75th percentile speed, and 85th percentile catch radius. So he's really got all the metrics that you're looking for in a wide receiver. He's quick. He's shifty. He can catch, and of course I mentioned the quarterback stuff because he understands defenses. It's very hard to be a quarterback and not understand defenses. So I'm sure that's translated to his gameplay as well, just finding pockets in the zones, running crisp routes, getting a good connection with his quarterback, knowing what the quarterback's looking for and all that kind of stuff. So I think Luke McCaffrey is a guy we all need to be drafting later in our rookie drafts. He's going like 4th, 5th round, sometimes undrafted in these things. And I think, he might not get the best draft capital. He might not start right away. In fact, this is a guy you might be able to pick up on waivers, like week 4 or 5 or whatever. But I do think in terms of his career, heading into 2025, maybe even 2026, he will start clicking. Again, it's just a profile that might take some time because he's new to the position. But I like myself some Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother, Ed McCaffrey's son. Really great profile, faster 40-yard dash than Christian McCaffrey, understands the game because he was a quarterback, really good profile, good size, decent college production as well. Give me some Luke McCaffrey. And the last wide receiver I want to talk about was actually talked about a little bit already in this chat, Javon Baker. This dude is the doggiest dog of the draft class, and I don't mean to even steal that from Cody. Cody Carpentier says the same thing. Javon Baker's a dog, but that is actually something that I saw too. When I saw him at the Senior Bowl, I interviewed him. He was one of the first people I interviewed. And I was like, hey, man, you've had a really good practice today, made some really good catches. How do you feel you did today? And he was like, I'm super disappointed. I don't think I did anything well at all, super down on himself. But it wasn't like he was sad. It was just that he was just kind of focused and had that dog mentality. And he, kind of backed that up at the combine as well. When Matty Kiwoom interviewed him, he still had some of just that energy, that alpha in him. And what's great about Javon Baker is he has some of that production as well. And, he finishes his career at University of Central Florida, but he did actually start out at college at Alabama. So he spent his first 2 years in college at Alabama, which is huge. I mean, that means Nick Saban recruited this guy, definitely saw something in him. He just didn't get much production because it's such a crowded receiving room. And he transferred to UCF where he did really well. His first year at UCF had 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. And last year went for 1,100 receiving yards with 7 touchdowns. And, he's been in college 4 years now, but he is only 22.1. So still a really, really young wide receiver. Has that dog mentality, has some good college production, was recruited at Alabama, went there first. I mean, Javon Baker's a guy, again, another value. I think he's going to get much higher draft capital than people are giving him credit for. I like Javon Baker a lot. And my final rookie flag plan is going to be Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. Really, really good tight end. Everyone's talking about Brock Powers, Shatavian Sanders. Ben Sinnott is my tight end too in this draft class. He's got the prototypical size at 6'4", 250. Maybe not prototypical, but just, I guess, it's right there. That's really, really good size. And then the agility is just where he kind of blows my mind. He's got 87th percentile speed and then 78th percentile burst and agility. Led all tight ends in the 3-cone drill and the 20-yard shuttle this year. Came from basketball, so it kind of makes sense that he's so agile, but that also helps his route running. That helps him in the end zone, just kind of boxing defenders out to make those really, really nice contested catches. I like Ben Sinnott a lot. He only played 3 years of college, which is pretty rare for a tight end, and a lot of it was receiving production. He had almost 700 receiving yards last year and 6 touchdowns, which is just great for a tight end. Really, really good production. Had that clutch factor. Really impressed me at the Senior Bowl. Backed that up with a good combine performance as well. I think he's a very crisp route runner who can also handle himself as a blocker. And he was also really, really good after the catch as well. So Ben Sinnott is a tight end I'm keeping my eye on as well. So those are my rookie flag plans. No quarterbacks yet, but after this, I'll do another rookie flag plan episode with the landing spots. But I do think that, Penix and Nix both are probably some values in our super flex drafts, but my actual rookie flag plants are going to be good old Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Roman Wilson, Kamani Vidal, Ben Sinnott, Brendan Rice, Luke McCaffrey, and Javon Baker. So that is everything I have for you guys. I've got to get to the airport, but I am going to go ahead and check in the chat, see if we have any questions. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's see. Fantasy Plumbers pumped that Cody likes Javon Baker and wants the Chiefs to get him. That would be great. That would be great. I should make my Trade Gods rookie picks live on Wake and Take. Maybe, yeah. If I'm on the clock and live, sure, why not? And then finally, Fantasy Plumber says I'm a big Danny DeVito fan. Yeah, just like always, Sonny, big Danny DeVito guy. He's a silly little man. Do not see any questions over on Instagram. So, guys, that should do it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I am not sure if we'll be having Wake and Take tomorrow. I'm really not sure what's going on with the Draft House and streaming all this stuff, but if Wake and Take is happening tomorrow, I will see you all live at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Player Profiler, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, live from Detroit if it's happening. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Follow me on Twitter at JFootballWine because that's how you'll find out if I am doing Wake and Take. But either way, thank you guys so much. Look forward for some incredible Player Profiler draft content this week. If Wake and Take does not happen, it's going to be incredible. We're live streaming during all the draft. We'll be having some other shows going on as well. It's really, really going to be fantastic stuff. So make sure you just stay tuned in to Player Profiler. Hit that bell on the channel after you subscribe to make sure you get the notifications. And yeah, if you missed Wake and Take, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. The link is in the description so you can listen to that. And everyone just have a terrific Tuesday, a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy the draft and all that stuff. I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.